What is up? What is up? What is up, awesome people of the internet? Guys, OMG. Wow, 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 wow. I woke up early today, was working on that Asia Wilson doc video. I put it out, so make sure y'all watch it later. But I was working on that, and I was getting ready to leave for church. And basically, right as I was leaving, I saw a notification come through saying DeWanna Bonner has signed with the Indiana Fever. And I was like, you know what? I can't do this right now. I gotta go. I gotta go to church. Somebody else can make that video real quick and get y'all that breaking news. But yeah, I'm back, and I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and go live. Let's talk about this real quick. And as I was preparing for this, I saw the news that not only did DeWanna Bonner sign with the Indiana Fever, they also made a trade as well. So let's get into the news. So again, the breaking news is that DeWanna Bonner, the 37-year-old power forward / small forward who's been in the game for a long time, she is taking her talents and heading on over to the Indiana Fever following her head coach who just left for the Indiana Fever. Now, guys, let's get to it. So, DeWanna Bonner, if y'all don't know DeWanna Bonner, she is one of the biggest players who have been playing in the last, 2 decades in the WNBA. She has been someone who's just always been there, right? She originally started her career playing with the Phoenix Mercury in 2009. And as a rookie, she was pretty good. And as time went on, she continued to develop her game. She is one of those power forwards that really isn't a power forward, but is at the same time. When we talk about DeWanna Bonner, she is someone who gives you a lot of length, right? She's 6'4". She has very, very, very long arms. So she can give you length. She can also give you shooting, right? She can do mid-range jumpers. She can do three-point shots. She can do a little bit of everything. She also can at times play with her back to the basket, but really her game is more of a finesse game than anything, right? And she started off playing with the Phoenix Mercury. Won there. That was when we had it was DeWanna Bonner. It was Diana Taurasi. It was Cappie Pondexter. And Phoenix was doing their thing. And then she ended up moving over to Connecticut. She went to Connecticut starting in 2020, and she's been there ever since, right? She's been there ever since. She did have a baby, have twins actually in the middle of her WNBA career. She's been one of those players who, you think, oh, DeWanna's getting older. She's not going to be as good as she used to be and whatnot. But nah, she continues to evolve her game. She continues to get better. And even though she's at that power forward position, she really is a small forward at heart because she can shoot threes. And also she's pretty decent at guarding guards when it comes to defense. So yeah, y'all, man, she's been great in the WNBA, and now she is taking her talent and going on over to the Indiana Fever. Now, if y'all don't know, if y'all are really, really surprised about this, consider this. The Connecticut Sun has completely blown up as a roster. They've done basically a garage sale, a fire sale, where basically everybody is gone for the Connecticut Sun. And it was about time for DeWanna Bonner to go as well, right? So Dejanay Carrington is now with the Dallas Wings. Alyssa Thomas is with the Connecticut Sun. Brianna Jones is with the Atlanta Dream. Ty Harris is with the Dallas Wings. And now DeWanna Bonner, the final nail in the coffin is DeWanna Bonner, who has taken her talents to the Indiana Fever. Now, with the Fever, I could totally imagine DeWanna Bonner playing that small forward role. Now, with the Connecticut Sun, she was largely playing that small forward role. You had Brianna Jones as the center, you had Alyssa Thomas as the power forward, and you had DeWanna Bonner as a small forward, right? And I think that's probably what she's going to do with the Indiana Fever. You can either play her at the as a starting small forward, or you can play her as a power forward. She can do both. She can absolutely do both. And I think that's pretty cool. So again, DeWanna Bonner is taking her talents to the Indiana Fever, where she will join her former head coach, Stephanie White, as the Indiana Fever get a whole lot better. All right, let's get to y'all comments. Thank you so much, Brandon, for the super chat. Says, I knew they weren't done and people were worried about that 8th pick. Ha ha. Yes. I mean, here's the thing. The Indiana Fever lost the battle in that specific trade for NaLyssa Smith, but they won the war. They won the war in terms of at this point, again, free agency is not over, but at this point, the Indiana Fever have won free agency, right? Yes, they got rid of NaLyssa Smith, in my opinion, a very bad trade. But they got a guard, which is what they wanted, because they didn't need NaLyssa Smith, because they knew that they had DeWanna Bonner in the hopper. They knew they had Natasha Howard in the hopper. And so, it's gonna be wild. It is absolutely gonna be wild looking at the Indiana Fever next year. And also, they did make some more moves as well. They did decide to sign a Jaylen Brown. Now, I think this is a W signing. Like, I think this is a really, really W signing. Jaylen Brown is a player who just joined the WNBA last year, right? So don't get Jaylen Brown confused with the NBA's Jaylen Brown. Yes, they do have the same name. Yes, they went to the same college, but they are not the same people. Okay, they are not the same people. And I'm excited to see what Jaylen Brown can do. Now, guys, if y'all remember, Jaylen Brown just kind of got her footing in the WNBA last year when she was signed to a training camp contract with the Dallas Wings. Right? She in preseason, Jaylen Brown was really, really, really good. And then she ended up getting injured and, didn't play as much for Dallas last year. But she is a player who can hit big buckets, okay? She can absolutely hit big buckets. Again, Jaylen Brown has been signed to the Indiana Fever. She was with the Dallas Wings last year, and now she's going to make her mark with the Fever. I do anticipate that Jaylen Brown will make the roster. The reason why is because she's a bigger guard. She's very young. She is someone who can score in bunches. And yes, overall, she didn't do that much last season for Dallas, mainly because she was coming off of injury. But I do anticipate her being able to knock down some shots, specifically some three-point shots, because that's what the Indiana Fever wanted, right? They needed more shooters alongside of the guards that they currently had, right? Your number ones when it comes to guards, it really is, of course, Caitlin, of course, Kelsey Mitchell. You got Lexi Hull in there, right? Now it's about now you have Sophie Cunningham, and now you're adding in a Jaylen Brown, who I think is going to be a really, really good fit for those other four players, right? And then what Indiana needs to do is they needed to make a decision. What are you going to do with the current players, guards on your team? And the Indiana Fever have made the decision to part ways with Grace Berger. So now that news just came out about 30 minutes ago that Grace Berger has been waived by the Indiana Fever. Now, here's the thing. I know some of y'all might be upset about this. Y'all might be like, what? Grace Berger's a really good player. She is. And you guys may be like, what? Grace Berger never really got a chance. She didn't. And you may be like, well, Grace Berger can be an impactful player next year. She could have been. However, I am of the mind that when teams waive a player this early in free agency, it is a kindness. Now, I don't want people to just be all negative Nancy about the news, but here's the deal. Grace Berger is not a proven player in the WNBA. She's not. Yes, Grace Berger was really, really good at Indiana in college. Really, really good, right? She is someone who, yes, I do see a future in the WNBA for Grace Berger. It's just not going to be with the Indiana Fever right now. And that is okay because she hasn't proven herself, because she really hasn't really even got a chance. But the Indiana Fever are in win now mode. Who did they get in this free agency? They got proven players, right? They got Sophie Cunningham. They have Natasha Howard. They have DeWanna Bonner. They've been making some moves, getting proven vets in the WNBA. And that's not what Grace Berger is. And so, in my opinion, them deciding now to part ways with Grace Berger is great, because this is early enough where Grace Berger is going to be able to find her footing somewhere else. Right? That's what I love about this. I love this decision because the Indiana Fever knew after the signings, after the trades they made, after the signings they made and whatnot, they knew that there was not a way forward for Grace Berger on this team. And instead of waiting, instead of keeping her on the roster and going into training camp and waiting to waive her there, they're waiving her now, which means that Grace Berger now has a really good chance of getting signed to a training camp contract with a team that could actually use her. It's a kindness. It really is a kindness that we see teams part ways with players this early, right? We already saw Zaya Cook, is gone. She got waived, a couple days ago. We also saw the news that Letitia Amihir got waived as well. Like, again, these players getting waived, while, yeah, sure, it's a bummer, right? Sure, as fans, you're probably like, man, that sucks. I really like this player, even though they haven't really got a chance and whatnot. This ultimately is the best thing for Grace. Waive her now. And now Grace has an opportunity to get picked up by somebody. I do think that Grace Berger will be in the WNBA. I don't think just because she got waived, that doesn't mean it. I think she'll be just fine. We'll probably see news about her signing either a training camp contract with a team coming up. I totally believe that. So yeah, it's a kindness. It really is a kindness. And I know maybe some of y'all don't think that, but it really is a kindness for teams. If they know they're not going to use a player, why wait? Why wait until the season is about to start? Why wait until training camp? You already know. So waive them now and move on. And let them move on. All right, guys. Let's get to y'all super chats. Thank you so much, Riz, for the super chat. Says... your top 4 in the W: Aces, New York, Lynx, Merc/Fever. At this point, we still have a lot of stuff that's happening in the WNBA, so I can't really give you a top 4. I can tell you this: the Indiana Fever are contenders, but a top 4, I can't really get that to you because there's still moves still being made. There is still question marks still on the board of where people are going. Especially Tina Charles. I think Tina Charles is like one of the big people that people want to see where she's going. Yoda, thank you so much for the super chat. Says, do you think they will load management with Bonner? Yeah. Yes. The benefit of DeWanna Bonner joining a team like Indiana is that she is going to be able to do what she does best, which is shooting shots, being that tall guard of a player that she is. You're gonna be able to do that while also not having to play a boatload of minutes every single night. So last year for the Connecticut Sun, DeWanna Bonner played average 31.8 minutes a game. 31.8 minutes a game for a 37-year-old player. Of course, she's doing it. She's rocking out. She looked good doing it too. Averaging 15 points a game, right? Shooting 41% from the field. Like she did her thing last year. And all her career, for the last, I would say about 6 or 7 years, DeWanna Bonner has averaged 30 or more minutes a game. This year in 2025, I believe will be the first year that we will see DeWanna Bonner averaging around 24 minutes a game. 24, 25, maybe even 20. Because the players that Indiana has on their roster, they will absolutely use DeWanna Bonner, and DeWanna Bonner is going to be huge. However, she's not going to have to help to carry the load as much as she did. The reason why she played so much for the Connecticut Sun is because Connecticut struggled in terms of scoring, right? Defense, Connecticut had it on lock, but scoring wise, they did struggle a little bit. And so making the move to get DeWanna Bonner on a team that has shooters, which means that you don't have to rely on DeWanna Bonner as much. Of course, she's going to score. Of course, you're going to need her to shoot threes. Of course, you're going to need her to do those mid-range jumpers, right? Of course, you're going to need her to be the player that she is. But will you need her for 30 minutes a night? No. And I think longevity-wise, this is great for DeWanna Bonner because, 30 plus minutes a night when you're getting up there in age is a lot. It's quite a bit. And so I think this is the perfect fit for DeWanna Bonner. Now, again, guys, thank y'all so much for joining me for this surprise live stream. Surprise, thank you so much. If y'all could, please do me a huge favor and hit that like button. That really does help the channel out a whole lot. Right now we have about 1,000 people in the chat, but we only have 100 likes. If y'all could, please do me a huge favor and hit that like button. Again, helps the channel out a whole lot. Also, it helps, YouTube know that this content is valuable, right? So again, if y'all are able to do that, it just takes a second of your time. Hit that like button. Thank you very much. Okay, let's continue on with what y'all have to say. Brandon, thank you so much for the super chat. Says Liberty Lynx Fever ... Mercury ? Yeah, possibly. Again, I'll wait until probably Tuesday, because I feel like by Tuesday we'll have some more questions answered, and it'll be at a point where I could give a real informational top 5 in the WNBA. So I can do that probably by Tuesday, because again, we'll still see some more trades happen and signings happen for the rest of the day. We'll see some more on Monday, and then by the time we hit Tuesday, I think we would have gotten through almost all of the stuff. Okay. HA, thank you so much for the super chat. Says, I thought Berger would be the bench replacement for Caitlin Clark. Does the Fever need a new player now for that position? No, they don't. They got Jaylen Brown, who can slot in and do that if needed. And guys, in general, they could just play it by committee, right? they could just play it by committee. You have quite a bit of players on your team at that guard slot who, sure, may not be traditional point guards, but can do that if they need to. All right. So again, guys, this is a pretty surprise thing, right? When we talk about the WNBA, man, we talk about changes galore. And yeah, man, we I think we have a new group of players who is gonna really make some stuff happen for the Indiana Fever. Man, the Indiana Fever went from being trash, where nobody wanted to go there, nobody liked them, nobody wanted to even be in Indiana. No fans showed up to games, to all of a sudden getting back-to-back number 1 picks, and now getting a high-level coach and bringing in proven vets who can absolutely make some stuff happen. I think this is huge. This is how to change a franchise in 3 years. That's what this is. And this signing today really does show that. It really does show that. Now, guys, we're going to continue to talk. I want to get to some of y'all comments as some of y'all some of the non super chat comments. But before we do that, I do want to just change this to subscriber only chat, mainly because it's a lot of stuff going on. Y'all talk about a whole lot, and I want to be able to make sure that I am addressing subscribers' comments. So if y'all want to say something, if y'all want me to respond to you all's message, subscribe to the channel, and then you can immediately start putting stuff in the chat. Okay, that's all you have to do. It takes a second, doesn't cost anything. Subscribe to the channel, and then you can put something in the comments. Let's see. Arcel says the Fever would need a sweetener to move Katie Lou. They could dump her on Connecticut. Sure, but here's the thing. The Fever would have to give up, I think, a little bit more than just Katie Lou to get rid of Katie Lou on their roster. So I think Katie Lou will be on the team next year. I also think that she will be better than she was last year as well. Species says, please talk about Asia's ceremonial celebration of her jersey. Here's the deal. I made a video. I made a produced video that it took hours to make. I made that, and I put that out earlier today about A'ja Wilson's jersey retirement. I walked through Asia's, history from like when she was a kid and was not very good at basketball but was tall, and how her dad really helped to develop her talent, and how she was able to become the #1 player in the country. Decided to instead of going to a major powerhouse in terms of schools, instead of going there, she made the decision to take a chance on South Carolina, on a program that hadn't really been good consistently, a team that just got Don Staley as their head coach, right? A'ja Wilson was able to do that, go to a place that a lot of people were like, what, really? Of course, people in South Carolina loved it, but like outside of South Carolina, it was like, you going to South Carolina? Okay, what's the vision? And then she was able to shine at South Carolina, and ultimately, record after record, she was able to dominate and put South Carolina on the map. The reason why we talk about South Carolina is because of A'ja Wilson. Her decision to stay home and take a risk on South Carolina, because it wasn't a proven program. It wasn't. And now, we see what South Carolina is. Of course, Don Staley was a fantastic coach before. Of course, she's gotten better. Of course. But I really do think the difference in South Carolina really was the decision of A'ja Wilson and some of the other All-Americans at the time to take a chance on South Carolina. So I'm not going to talk much about that anymore, because I made a video about it. Hopefully people watch it. But yeah, A'ja Wilson has gotten her jersey retired. Also, yesterday I put out a video about Caitlin Clark, highlighting her jersey retirement as well. And so, yeah, they took a while, but I did them mainly because, again, the point of this channel is not to just hop on social media trends, not to just hop on viral videos, not to just hop on stuff that I can clickbait people into watching. The point of this channel truly is to grow the game of basketball and to educate people on who these players are, what they mean to the game, and ultimately just continue to grow the game that way. So I appreciate y'all. That's why this channel exists. That's why we exist, to do just that, not just to, go viral. So while, that A'ja video, I know many people won't watch it. I guarantee you, when it all shakes out, that A'ja video earlier today will not get that many views. But ultimately, it is important for the game of women's basketball to highlight and to celebrate greatness. And that's exactly what I did, right? And that's what we do. Don't care much about views at all. It's about doing what I can in my small corner of the internet to actually grow the game of women's basketball. So appreciate y'all so much for y'all support. But yeah, that's all the talk I'm going to do about those retirements. Okay. Impartial Review says, how did Brown end up on the Fever? Well, she signed with the Fever. That's how she ended up with the Fever. Let's see. Riz said, DeWanna Bonner to the Fever stunned me though. Why do you think she chose there, especially with the drama this past season around Fever and Caitlin Clark fans? So, why did she choose there? Well, it was a combination of a whole bunch of stuff. Partially it was because the entire Connecticut Sun roster has imploded, right? It fully imploded, and she had to go somewhere else. So she wasn't gonna stay at Connecticut because why? Ain't nothing there. Two, she's very familiar with Stephanie White. Stephanie White, remember guys, was the head coach of the Connecticut Sun last year, right? So DeWanna Bonner is very used to her. Three, Indiana is in win now mode. They are in win now mode. They are putting the pieces together to make some stuff happen. So that's partially why. 4, I also do think it's because she doesn't feel like she has to carry the load fully offensively for her team. So all of that, in my opinion, all of that combined together to have her make the decision to end up signing with the Indiana Fever and surprising everybody. Now, guys, I do want to clarify something that I've talked about before and we reported on before, but we did get some more clarity on it today, and I want to talk about it. So, if you all remember the various trades that have happened the last several days, we kind of learned about it as individual, individual trades. It turns out it was actually a 4-team trade. So, the Indiana Fever ended up getting Jaylen Brown on their roster because of the trade with Dallas. And then she, signed with now she's with the Indiana Fever now. So this is the trade that happened. It was told to us in stages, but it turns out it was one full 4-team trade. Where the Wings received Dejanay Carrington, Ty Harris, Nalissa Smith, Kiki Herbert-Harrigan, the rights to her. They also received the 12th pick in the 2025 draft. They received the second round pick swap with Connecticut. They also received a 3rd-round pick swap with the Indiana Fever, both in 2026 and 2027. The Phoenix Mercury received Satu Sabali, Kalani Brown, and Sevgi Uzun. And Alyssa Thomas as well. The Connecticut Sun received J.C. Sheldon, Beck Allen, Natasha Cloud, and the number 8th pick in the 2025 draft. And the Indiana Fever received Jaylen Brown, Sophie Cunningham, and the number 19th pick in the 2025 draft. Okay, so that is fully what happened. So in the past, remember a couple days ago, we were talking about this as first a 3-team trade and then a 2-team trade. Turns out it's actually a 4-team trade. All right, so that is all of what happened. Just wanted to give some clarity to that, okay? Let's see the comments. Thanks so much, Brandon, for the super chat. Says, thanks for the Caitlin and Asia videos you put out. Well, appreciate your support. Thank you. Stern12 says, thanks so much for the super chat. Says, do the Sun even have a roster? Question mark. They confuse me. Well, they don't really have much of a roster right now. But that's what free agency is for. Expect a lot of European players to sign with the Connecticut Sun. And expect quite a bit of rookies on their team for next year. And Marina Mabry. So a lot of European players, lots of rookies, and Marina. and Tosh Cloud as well. So it's gonna be very interesting for the Connecticut Sun. Very, very, very interesting. And guys, the start of the end for the Connecticut Sun was Stephanie White. Stephanie White made the decision to leave Connecticut, where she was very successful. They did not want her to leave. She made the decision to leave Connecticut and take her talents on over to the Indiana Fever. Now, that decision led to some cascading decisions from the players. When Stephanie White was like, you know what? I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Once that happened, everything else burnt down. Yes. Kristen, yes. Stephanie White burnt the entire house down for the Connecticut Sun. She decided she wanted to leave, and the players was like, you know what? We didn't really want to be here. No way. No way. We didn't want to be here. The practice facilities are terrible. All this other stuff. Now the head coach is gone. You know what? We out of here. Get me a trade out of here. I'm signing with a new team. I am gone. And so Alyssa Thomas wanted to be out. She had already talked about the practice facilities and whatnot, and we all know what that is. But the thing, in my opinion, that really spurred the decision that she was like, I want to be out of here, is because Stephanie White was gone. And if Stephanie White is gone, and you're like, okay, well, we gotta rebuild. Why would I do that? I don't want to rebuild in a not so ideal environment in terms of just the amenities and whatnot that Connecticut has to offer. Get me out of here. I saw Phoenix. They had a really nice practice facility. They had a really nice stuff that they put out there. Send me there. And Alyssa Thomas was the domino that fell first. Her and Ty Harris got shipped on out because AT wanted to leave. And then, we saw Brianna Jones. Brianna Jones was looking like, you know what? My head coach is gone. The point forward, the unicorn. Well, unicorn is technically Satu Sably, but the engine is gone. She packed her bags and gone. My starting point guard is gone, so I'm gone. Let me peace out and let me go on over to Atlanta. Let me see what Atlanta is all about. And so at that point, you had players gone, right? And Dejanay is like, okay, well, I want to be gone too. Like I want to be gone as well because everybody else is leaving. You know what? Send me out of here. And then DeWanna Bonner was like, okay, well, my whole starting five is gone. My four of the starting five is gone. You know what? I'm gonna let me go ahead and follow. Let me follow Steph White, and let me go on over here to Indiana. Let me help them win a championship, and let me take it a little bit easier than I have in the past. Now she's not really gonna be taking it easy. I mean, in terms of minutes per game. She's probably going to be around 20 to 25 minutes instead of 30 plus minutes a night. And so I think that was a benefit to her. And also she knows how Stephanie White wants to operate. And so she's like, you know what? Let me go. Now, all of that started because Stephanie White said she wanted to leave. Because Stephanie White wanted to leave, we see an entire new roster for Connecticut next year. We see the Connecticut Sun, who had to do a fire sale because everybody wanted out. And who knows? Maybe Marina Mabry is talking to Morgan Tuck right now about how to get her out of Dodge at Connecticut. Who knows? But anyway, that is the news that happened, and that's why it happened. But yeah. Stephanie White started this whole thing. She started this whole thing, y'all. Oh man, that's pretty funny. Kristen says maybe Mabry will go back to the Sky now that Kennedy is gone. Not that I know she was the issue. Not really sure what happened there. Well, Marina Mabry said she wanted to join a championship culture. She wanted to join a team that can compete and at a high level. And that's why she wanted to leave Chicago. It wasn't because of Kennedy. It wasn't because of Angel. It wasn't because of anything like that. She just wanted to be on a better ran roster, a roster that took more advantage on her, what she has to offer. The Chicago Sky in large aspects where was having her play point guard when she was with the Sky this past season, and she didn't want to do that. She wanted to be not a facilitator, not really a facilitator. She wanted to be a scorer, and so she wanted to be out. So she got out, and now the team that she is on is a dumpster fire. So we'll ultimately see what happens for Myrna Mabry coming up soon. All right, guys, let's continue on. Let's continue on to some more of y'all comments. Again, just reminding y'all, we do see a huge signing earlier today where DeWanna Bonner has been signed with the Indiana Fever, and Jaylen Brown was signed she wasn't signed. They got Jaylen Brown due to a trade that happened. They also got Sophie Cunningham as well, and they decided to part ways with Grace Berger. So that is the news that has happened today. Again, if y'all could, please do me a huge favor and hit that like button. That really does help the channel out a lot. If y'all have something y'all want to say, subscribe to the channel and you can post in the chat. Subscribing takes no time, takes no money as well. It's just a quick hit that button and you will be good. Thank you so much. Riz for the super chat says, surprised the Lynx and Liberty made no huge moves. It's because they would have had to make some trades. And they didn't want to give up players on their roster, right? That's the reason. So we will see some free agent signings for the Minnesota Lynx and for the New York Liberty. But in terms of trades, you had to give up stuff to get stuff. And they clearly didn't want to part ways with what they had. Thank you so much. Tensia, I think, says, Quita, you're the real MVP. My question is, if Seattle underachieves, do you think Quinn is out as coach and Pokey Chapman takes over? Well, yes. I don't know about the second part, but the first part, yeah. If the Seattle Storm does not make actual improvement next year, Noah Quinn's out. She's out. I thought there was kind of a chance that she would be out after this past season. But yeah, if the Seattle Storm does not get better, Noah Quinn's out. Whether or not Pokey Chapman takes over, I don't know. But guys, if y'all didn't know, Pokey Chapman is now the head coach of the Brazilian national team. I'm just like double checking myself. Yeah. Pokey Chapman is the new head coach of the Brazilian national team. And so yeah, she may be in the running for the next head coach if Seattle can't get it together. Who knows? Crank that. So thank you so much for the super chat. Says, best outcome for the Fever instead of trying to get one big player like Sablé. They improved the whole roster and a strong bench to make a run this year. Yeah, facts. Absolutely facts. So yeah, I do think that ultimately the Indiana Fever made a smart strategic move. Right? They made the decision to, you know what? We're going to have to give up way too much to get Satou Sablé. So nah, we don't need her. Give me Sophie Cunningham. Give me Jaylen Brown. Y'all can have Nalissa Smith for not much. And we're going to sign two big free agents in DeWanna Bonner and Natasha Howard. And that's how they're going to rock from now. That is how they're going to rock from now on. And I think it's great. I think it's smart. Like very, very strategically smart. I know all the talk about, are they going to get Satou? Are they not going to get Satou? Smart move. Ultimately, and I don't know if it was their decision or if Dallas was like, actually, you're just not giving us enough. So we're not giving Satou to you, right? But yeah, man, clearly everybody wants to go to Indiana. Clearly. Riz says, did anyone watch the Fever at all before 2024? Stop it, LOL. I mean, I did. I've been watching the Indiana Fever since Tamika Catchings. Yeah, Tamika Catchings is a baller, man. She is a baller, straight up baller. But yeah, I've been watching the Fever since her. So yeah, but I know most of y'all did not watch the Indiana Fever until 2024. And that's okay. Y'all here now. y'all are here now, and nothing is wrong with that. Kojo says there's so much WNBA news right now. My face stays like, yeah, I know. It is kind of wild. It is kind of wild. I saw, I can't find it anymore, but I saw William asking about Pokey Chapman. Pokey Chapman, she's a female. Yeah, Pokey Chapman. She was the head coach of LSU for a long time. Was the head coach of the Chicago Sky, coached overseas. Then came back to the WNBA as an assistant coach. She is now the head coach of the Brazilian national team. And she's currently the assistant coach for the Seattle Storm. Wow, Sue, that's kind of sad. Says I didn't even know the WNBA was on TV before last year. Wow, that's really really sad. But you know, I'm sure you're not alone. I'm sure a lot of people never thought it was on TV, never watched it or whatever. But you know, now you're here, and my hope is that you are not only supporting your favorite player or your favorite team or whatever, but you're also just getting some information about the WNBA as a whole, and you're gaining a respect for the league as a whole. However you get here is great. And now I think it's all about just increasing your knowledge about the W and just women's basketball in general. Uh, Study Server Entertainment says you make a lot of lives. I dig it. Good job. Because there's so much breaking news, and at this point, it makes no sense for me to make some produced videos around stuff that's happening. It's just way faster to just go live and do it, just because it's so much stuff happening. It's so much stuff happening. MP says, can we get a point guard in Chicago, please? I mean, we got Courtney Vandersloot, so that's our starting point guard now. 007 says, off topic, Quita, did you see that Angel Reese got ejected last night? Yep, I did. But yeah, if you watch the games live, like you'll like, I saw it, and it's a softening of the referees, and I don't like that they did that. However, I couldn't make a video about it, primarily because I was trying to get the Caitlyn video out, and I was trying to get this Asia video out this morning, and I just couldn't do it. It's an interesting dance that I have to make in between doing like some deep work for like really really heavily produced videos, really high quality videos, and weighing that over the unnecessary fluff that would get a lot of attention. So it's sort of like I was like, oh man, this just happened. Man, should I make a video? And I'm like, I could have, but that would be time that I would be taken away from the actual like high quality stuff that I could be making. And I was like, you know what? Let me not make a video about that right now. Maybe I'll make a video about it later. I don't know. But I saw it because I was watching. Not just the clips on Twitter, but yeah, I just couldn't do it because it's a you have to weigh it out. You have to weigh it out, your time and like what you should be doing with it. Whether it's quick fluff, unnecessary videos that would get a lot of attention, or whether it's like deep, thorough stuff that would ultimately be, in my opinion, more beneficial to people. So See, I saw it, but I didn't make it. I didn't make a video about it. All right. Let's continue on. Pete says the whole "you're a new fan" attempt at an insult is so juvenile and childish, especially since it's literally the new fans that have catapulted the W into the mainstream of popularity. You're welcome. I don't know if that's towards me or someone in the chat. If it's towards me, that's not an insult. Saying someone is a new fan is not an insult. It's a fact. If you're a new fan, if you just hopped on in 2024, you're a new fan. That's okay. Not an insult. It's just a thing. Like, for example, I am a new fan of professional bull riding. I've been watching professional bull riding for about 3 years. I really like it. I'm a new fan. If I'm talking to someone about PBR and I'm talking about it and they're like, "Oh, you're a new fan," that's not an insult. That's literally a fact. Literally a fact. Some people do say that as a derogatory term, and I do acknowledge that. So this is not me saying that anybody who says that is on the up and up. No, there are some people who do say that as an insult, and they do say that as a very unnecessary a way to demean people. And I don't agree with that. I think that's messed up. I really do. I really do think that's messed up, because here's the thing. The WNBA is small. Women's basketball is small. The popularity of our sport is not big at all. And because of that, shouldn't you be welcoming for more people to hop on? Shouldn't you? I understand that sometimes people want to gatekeep, and sometimes people are like, "Oh no, this is mine." Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is like, for example, when I was younger, I was a Degrassi fan. Loved Degrassi. And I got on Drake, aka Aubrey Graham, before Drake ever got popular. So Drake, he was on Degrassi, Wheelchair Jimmy, and he was making music. And guys, when he was still on Degrassi making music, I started listening to Drake. I liked Drake. I was a big fan of Drake. I was telling everybody about Aubrey Graham and what Aubrey Graham is doing. And then a lot of people was like, "Who is that?" I ain't listening to no guy on Degrassi and all this other stuff. And then eventually Drake ended up hooking up with Lil Wayne, and then his popularity skyrocketed. And then I was like, you know what? Drake has gotten too big. All these people didn't remember. Didn't even know who Drake was back then. Y'all shouldn't be fans of him. Y'all too much, you know. And I got like very annoyed with it, and I was like, you know what? I'm done with this because now it's too popular. Now everybody's on board. Now everybody has something to say about him and whatnot. When before nobody seemed to care, and so like, you know, there is a little bit of this is mine. Why is everybody paying attention? But at the same time, when we talk about the sport of women's basketball, I love women's basketball. I want women's basketball to grow. So I don't care if you just became a fan yesterday. I don't care if you've been a fan for 30 years. I don't care if you've been a fan for the majority of your life like I have. Right? What I want to do, I want to welcome everybody in. And what I want to do is I want everybody to respect the game. That's what I want. So if you're new, I'm like, hey, welcome. Happy you're here. Let me kind of tell you about what women's basketball is all about. Let me tell you about some of the greats who used to play this game. Let me give you some commentary on what's currently happening and give you all some context so you can understand it, right? So like, not everybody handles stuff the same way, but like, yes, there are people who use new fan in a derogatory term. That sucks. But at the same time, it is what it is. It's life. That's what people do. But just because someone wants to be derogatory and demean you because you're a new fan, which again is not an insult, but if they want to use it as that, who cares? Here's the thing. You all can be interested in what you're interested in. Just because someone wants to gatekeep, just because someone wants to act like you don't like you don't belong here and all this other stuff, just because someone's like, you know what, you have to fit these very specific buckets. You have to like these very specific things. You can't say, like, just because someone wants to tell you that, you don't have to listen. You don't have to listen. You are your own person, okay? You are your own person. So don't use that as a way to be like, oh, see, the WNBA don't like me. All of these OG fans, they can't stand the newbies and all this other stuff. Like, guys, who cares what they say? Why are you? I think in general, we as a society has gotten way too sensitive. Like, who cares? I don't understand. I really don't. Like, I feel like it's like, oh, if this person if these groups of fans said this, that I'm not welcome because I just became a fan, or if they're acting like it's a problem, you're all upset. Like, why? Who cares? Who cares, guys? At some point, be your own person. Don't care what people think, and move on. Okay? Like, and I understand that, like, not everybody's like me, and like people are a little bit more sensitive, but at the same time, eventually, like, they're just words on a screen. Who cares? Like, whatever, man. Freedom Runner says they get their feelings hurt over a text on a screen. Yeah, I think it's just like it's unnecessary, and you mess yourself up. You like, why? You get all upset for no reason because some people like being upset. Some people just like being upset. They want to be mad about something, so they got to figure out what is the latest thing I'm upset about. And so they got to pick some stuff. And so anyway, how did we get on this rant? I don't even know. I can't even remember how this thing even started. So I don't know. I don't know how this thing started, but yeah. The moral of the story is, if you are a new fan of women's basketball, great. Happy to have you on. If you're an old fan of women's basketball, great. Happy to have you on. If you are someone who's a very casual fan who pops in and pops out, great. Happy to have you on. Guys, this is a welcoming channel. This is a channel where everybody can hop on here and enjoy the game of women's basketball together. I don't know how in the world we got into this rant, but yeah, man, like, I don't know. I gotta move on. We got people. We had like 900 people in the chat, but it dropped down because I guess people don't like my rant. I gotta move on. I gotta move on and get off this rant stuff, because sometimes, guys, I get going and I just go and go and go and go and go and go. You know. So it's sorry about that. I do apologize for the random rants. Yes, the Freedom Runner says the common denominator is we are all fans. It doesn't matter how we became fans. I mean, in most instances, yes, I think you're right. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, hey, you're welcome to rock out women's basketball, man. All right, let's actually get into the actual context of, the actual reason for this live stream, which is, again, the trade, the new signee that the Indiana Fever have made. They have signed DeWanna Bonner to their team, which is pretty cool. Let's see. Stern12, thank you so much for the super chat, says Caitlin Clark brought me in. However, I now am watching 3 TVs of women's basketball, and I'm watching you. Man, salute to you, Stern12. See, that's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. You rocked on, like, you started rocking with women's basketball because of Caitlin, and now you've been introduced to all this other stuff, right? And I think that's great. I think that is really, really great. Winsome says, how do you think the new additions will mesh with the current roster for the Fever? It seems like they are not, it seems like they got great pieces, but how will they form a team? Well, I think for DeWanna Bonner, I think it'll be very seamless because, again, you're very much used to Stephanie White. I do think that the team as a whole, they're going to have a little bit of adjustment to do during training camp and during the preseason to get used to the way that Stephanie White wants to run her team, right? So it's not just a learning curve for the new players. It's also a learning curve for the existing players who are not used to Stephanie White. Again, last year, it was Christy Sides who was the head coach for the Indiana Fever. And so, you know, it's a change for the Fever, and everybody has to adjust, right? Everybody has to adjust to how Stephanie White wants to run her roster. And I do think that Sophie Cunningham is going to slot right in as a player off the bench for this team. I do think that DeWanna Bonner is going to slot right in. I do think Natasha Howard is also going to slot right in. Again, adjustment period during training camp and during preseason, but once the season actually starts, I think they're good. I do. Assuming no injuries. Assuming no injuries. That's to me, that's always key. That's always key. Thank you so much, Natasha, for the super chat. Really do appreciate your support so much. Thank you. And Kristen, thank you so much for the super chat as well. Says, new bandwagon Caitlin Clark fan. Thank you so much, Quita, for your channel. I've learned so much and am all in on the W now. It's been so much fun. Man, Kristen, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you so much for that message. I think that's awesome. That is awesome. Awesome that you are all in on the WNBA and that you're enjoying, the awesome play that you're saying. Like this is, the WNBA is the best of the best when it comes to women's basketball. And like, we all know college basketball is fantastic. We all know the Olympic basketball is fantastic, but like the WNBA is just it's a special thing. It is a special thing. And I love it, man. I love the fact that you have hopped on board, from bandwagon fan to just to a fan of just the W. I think it's great. So shout out to you, Kristen. All right. I feel like that is probably it for me. That is probably it for me on the stream. Yeah, man. I'm kind of tired. I was up early, man. Doing the Asia video, but I'm kind of tired now. Speaking of Asia, I still haven't played. Like, I still have it. Like, I bought this, but I still haven't even played it yet. Mainly because I've just been so busy. So I gotta get to actually playing this and make some videos about NBA 2K5 when it comes to their WNBA features. But yeah, guys. I don't know. I don't really have anything else. I originally started talking about the free agent signings and whatnot, and then I just went on a random tangent and like totally kind of confuses how I even got there. But hopefully y'all have been entertained. Hopefully this has been entertaining for y'all. If not, I'm sorry. Yeah. I don't know. Thank y'all so much for rocking with me. I really do appreciate your support of this channel. It truly means a lot. Whether you have been rocking with me for a long time, whether you just hopped on board, whatever the case be, I appreciate you guys. We are on our road to 30,000 subscribers. It's just been fun. It's been a really fun ride just to experience this with you all. But yeah, appreciate you, and y'all have a good one, man. Y'all have a good one, guys. You matter. You're important. I'm happy that you are on this earth. I'm happy you're a fan of women's basketball. And tell people that they matter. Tell people that they're important. Tell people what you think of them, guys. I love you. Most importantly, guys, Jesus loves you and he wants a relationship with you. Hopefully, y'all have been to church already. If y'all have not, connect with the church. Because ultimately, guys, the only thing that actually matters in this world is your relationship with Jesus. So that's all I got to say. See y'all in the next one. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye.